Now let's take a look at the refugee crisis in Europe. Europe's leaders are heading to Brussels for a summit aimed at finding common purpose on how to handle the refugee crisis. With tens of thousands still fleeing war in Syria, there are growing fears that Europe's Schengen free movement zone, made up of 26 countries, may be at a critical juncture. Guy Henderson reports from Berlin on the potentially significant economic costs.
Businesses at this Berlin trade fair are worried. 2 decades of open borders have served Germany's export-driven economy better than most in the Schengen zone. But with this pillar of European integration under threat, it's not just the flow of people that would slow.
I would say 1/3 of the business is done in Europe. It's not so much discussed because nobody hopes that it will happen, but it would definitely damage.
It would be very hard because the biggest producing station is in Germany, in Holzminden, and we sell all over Europe, and it's the biggest market for the company.
By some estimates, the end of Schengen could cost its former members more than €100 billion a year.
Schengen's internal borders remain open, though the introduction of restrictions by several European countries may already be having an impact on businesses like these. The EU's plan A, of course, is to try and persuade Turkey to take in more refugees. But with a lack of progress there is now serious discussion about excluding Greece and moving that external border north into Central Europe.
Even there, doubts as to whether that will be enough. Austria this week confirmed it would enforce a daily limit at its border.
My impression is that a European solution would not be possible, at least not in the short term, and maybe even not in the medium term. The interests are too different.
Though some believe, regardless, a core group would remain.
If Schengen breaks down, the specter of that economic loss will be big enough, at least in the economic center of the European Union, to recreate a Schengen type of agreement the next week.
Germany particularly is still pushing for a breakthrough. Without one, its political and economic losses are likely to be great. Guy Henderson, CCTV, Berlin.